Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of Gypsy Jazz Fridays, coming right up. I hope you watched the first episode of Bebop Mondays. You can find it on my channel, I'll put a link in the description, because I have two new shows. Bebop Mondays every Monday and Gypsy Jazz Fridays every Friday. So on Monday, we'll dive into some cool bebop licks, bebop phrases, devices. And on Fridays, we're gonna explore some Gypsy Jazz licks and ideas. And this is the first episode and I've compiled some really nice phrases that you can pretty much use when you improvise on a Gypsy Jazz standard, but also when you improvise on a normal jazz standard. And I intend to alternate between using a Gypsy Jazz guitar and an archtop for this series, because it sounds good on both instruments, and it sounds good on both Gypsy Jazz standards and normal jazz standards. So let's take a look. This is the tab, which as always you can download from my Patreon. There's a link to that in the description. And let's take a look at what I chose for this episode. So the first lick, or it's actually a scale, it's a combination between a minor type scale and a chromatic scale, sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Now this is meant to be played faster. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's with open strings, so when you use this fingering, you can only play it in D minor, right? This fits over D minor, A7, kind of when you have a long minor chord. And so going up, it's a kind of minor scale. I think people might call it a bebop harmonic minor harmonic scale. But even though it's called bebop, it's used in Gypsy Jazz because the fingering is so easy, right? If we ignore the first few notes, the 4 notes on the A string, and start on the D string, we have every string we have open 2 3, open 2 3, open 2 3, and the first string we have, but then. And then we go down with a chromatic scale, and we do it not really a chromatic, it's a fake chromatic scale. It's the chromatic scale you use on a guitar. In Gypsy Jazz is where you play just 3, 2, 1, open. Every string. Except the last string, when you want to end, you play 4, 3, 2, 1. So you have the open string on the beat. 2, 3, 4. So this would be 16 notes, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you could end on any string, right? When you are in E minor, you could just. So I play 3, 2, 1, open every string, and the last string, because I want to end on an open E, I play 4, 3, 2, 1. So if you want to end on the let's say the A, we do this. Right? 3, 2, 1 open, except on the A string where we play 4, 3, 2, 1. So the chromatic scale fits in any key, especially any key which ends with an open string. But the scale up is ready for D minor. Now, so you can play this on a song in D minor. If you want to play it in another key, you need to use a fingering which doesn't use open strings. And I have exactly the same phrase without open strings. A little more difficult, but still pretty convenient. Sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we get this very convenient 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2. So I thought maybe I could show this, because this would be in G minor. Maybe I could show this on the bridge of Dinah, which is in E minor. So then I have to start here. And I will just play it like this in swing eighth notes. I think in the intro I played it really fast. I played like... I went up with eighth notes and down in 16th notes. But now we'll just stick to eighth notes. Really nice flowing phrase. Let's go to the next idea. We have an idea with based around the G major triad. Sounds like this: 3, 4. Two, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4. Also a good exercise for your picking, where you have the sweeps, but also the double downs. Let's say you want to play it in another key. This is easy to find because you just put your first finger on the third of the key and then you can play this phrase. So if you have to play it in B flat, you put your first finger on D, play the same fingering. So let me play that on Dyna. Of course, you don't have to play the whole thing. You could just play the beginning part. Until there, maybe. Right? Or you could start. This is a good lick to practice in many different variations. So start halfway, play only the beginning, play only the end. Because when you play the whole thing, it's 3 bars. And sometimes you don't have time for 3 bars of the tonic of G major in this example. So maybe you have only 2 bars. So this is a good phrase to experiment with different variations. This is a typical Django phrase. We're in the key of G and it sounds like this. So it starts on beat 3. So I count the bar before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 3, 4, 1, 2. So I wrote it down in this variation, but the principle is just this 2-finger pattern on 4 strings. Doesn't really matter where you start or where you end. You just play it as long as there's a G chord. It also would fit nicely actually on a 2-5-1 if you start like halfway the 2-5-1 going into the 1 chord. So let me demonstrate it on Dyna. And I won't play exactly like it's written here, I just use this trick. the bridge I used the minor variant, which goes like this. You can use actually 5 strings, but then the last 2 are 2 frets up. So major, minor. Next. Now this is a very long phrase in G. It's when you have a long, like G chord or maybe G D7, something like the bridge of China Boy where you have A flat. Basically it's all A flat, and also Dinah, it's basically all G with some D7 there, but this would fit over Dinah even if there's D7. And the complete thing is 6 bars. So let me first play the first 4 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And again, 3, 4, 1. And then the last 2 bars. So the whole thing, 3, 4, 1. It's a couple of phrases in a row, right? You don't have to play the whole thing, you could just play the beginning. Maybe that's just a G scale. This is also a lick by itself. And this also. Right, it's a G scale, then some little lick in G around the 5th, or maybe around the 9. Yeah, and then we go up with a G major 7 arpeggio. So this would be a good one to break up and practice the separate parts. So let me improvise a little bit with this phrase, and by not playing the whole thing all the time, but also just play parts from it. The last phrase for today, for episode 1 of Gypsy Jazz Fridays, it's a 2-5-1 in G. And it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, now I see that it says here. Maybe that's a mistake, but you could, yeah. I would play with a G flat instead of F. So I would change that for the upload to Patreon. So let's play it with that G flat instead of the F. 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. With the F. It's also nice, you can use both. So I will leave it like this and you can choose what you want to do. Yeah, really nice kind of under the bar type phrase. Let's play that on a 2-5-1 on Dinah. you go. I try to improvise a little bit with all the phrases. Of course, you should do that too. Just try to make a solo containing every phrase, see if you can remember them. And then you can do that for a week. And then there will be episode 2 of Gypsy Jazz Fridays. And of course, on Monday, there will be episode 2 of Bebop Mondays. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and if you want the tab, you can always join me on Patreon and get access to tab for every video I ever made, and also to a lot of exclusive content only made for patrons. It's hours of extra video, extra tab, and I continue to make more. Bye!